Hello, solar fiction friends. Thank you for your patience for the next season of Probably True Solar Stories. I'm your Solar Story host, Tor Solarfred Valenza, and this is a preview of Season 3. Before I tell you about the next 10 episodes, people keep asking me, what's the point? What's the goal of creating a solar fiction podcast? Well, the goal is to make solar as mainstream as a cell phone or a car. People love those things for how they make them feel. Feeling connected to solar is important because if we don't get enough people, utilities, and politicians seeing solar as something that they're proud to support, then we're not going to meet our climate goals fast enough. We're not. More people need to be excited about solar and defending solar against fossil fuel interests that want to slow down our energy transition. Now, I could write op-eds about this and rant and rave on social media, but that gets annoying and boring. But if you write a fictional story that makes people feel connected, I think that's going to work better. Maybe I'm wrong about this, but I think that if people see solar in their favorite shows and films, we'll attract new solar workers, better policies, and new solar customers. I mean, shouldn't our pop culture be reflecting this once in every 100-year transformation? I think so, but it's not. So I'm filling in the gap with this podcast. And then when I tell people about it, some people tell me that solar is boring. There's nothing exciting about a solar panel. It's not an iPhone with a bunch of crazy apps and games. And in response, I say that the doctor stories that you see on TV all the time aren't about scalpels, and that lawyer stories aren't about Hugo Boss suits and laptops. They're about people who are solving complex and personal problems with drama and excitement, thrills and chills. Solar plots and characters can do that too. Also, good solar stories can have universal themes, like good versus evil, love versus hate, death, taxes, and very often, politics. And that, my friends, brings me to Season 3's slate of solar stories. For Season 3, it's a presidential election year, so I thought let's do some stories around energy politics. Hashtag Energy Deep State. Energy has always been political, and solar is no different. With that in mind, most of the stories in this season will involve political energy themes. For the first 5 episodes, we're going to wrap up our ongoing series, The Solar Heist, or How I Got Into the Solar Business. From the beginning of this series, the story revolved around politics when a shipment of solar panels were confiscated by U.S. Customs because the solar panels were manufactured with Chinese forced labor. In these last 5 episodes, I'll reveal the energy politics and the love-hate relationship that's been responsible for almost everything that's happened to Maz and Charlie. After the Solar Heist, I'll tell a story about breaking the law for solar love. Once upon a time, 2 solar pros decided to get married in Vegas at a solar convention. But when a summer blackout happens, the solar tribe comes through. The fun thing about this Probably True Solar story is that it was recorded live in Las Vegas at the largest solar conference of the year, RE+. And it's also very loosely based on a true solar story. So tune in for that. Next, we continue with a multi-part energy deep state story about a fictional solar installer U.S. president who decides to declare an official climate emergency. Frightened that this decision will be worse for climate action and the next election, a conspiracy of close advisors plot to assassinate him before he can make the speech. Will they succeed? Should they succeed? You'll have to tune in to find out. For episode 10, we go back to the lighter side of deep state energy when a pet psychic sues fossil fuel companies and the U.S. government on behalf of polar bears and other animals who are threatened with extinction. If you like talking animals and courthouse comedies, I think you and your kids are going to enjoy this one. Now, usually we do 10 episodes per season, but there may be more. We'll see how the muses go. As always, we'll include the true solar takeaways in the show notes that separate the episode solar facts from the solar fiction. In the meantime, If you're new to Probably True Solar Stories or fuzzy about the last episode of the Solar Heist, I strongly recommend that you review the last episode before next week. I'll leave a link in the show notes. That's our Season 3 preview. If you'd like to support the show, leave us a 5-star rating and review on your favorite streaming service. Please tell your friends. And if you're a big solar contractor or equipment manufacturer, contact us for some very creative sponsorship opportunities for your solar company. Probably True Solar Stories is a production of Unthinking Solar, PR and Communications. Be bold for solar, stand out, and educate. See you next week for The Solar Heist, or How I Got into the Solar Business, Part 7.